What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast Podcast. We appreciate every single one of you that joined us for our NBA draft show. But today, Griffin and I, we're going to talk a little free agency. We're going to talk a little NBA draft. So let's just dive straight into it. Griffin, how are we doing?
We're doing fantastic, Liam. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Rocking my boy MCW, as always. We wearing this at the gym tomorrow. We got to get litty with it. So let's just dive straight into it. I mean, an interesting draft. I don't think any of us predicted, the Cam Whitmore fall, but that happened. The Thompson twins back to back. So let's just kind of dive into it. Winners and losers. I kind of want to go through a couple teams and just, let me know what you think about them. So let's first dive into the Charlotte Hornets. They decided to go Brandon Miller at 2. They got Nick Smith Jr. all the way at 27. They also landed James Najee and Amari Bailey. What do you think about a haul for Charlotte, switching to new ownerships, and your overall thoughts on Brandon Miller ended up being the pick?
I mean, super solid. I had all the guys that they got in the draft above where they picked them, except for Brandon Miller. Obviously, I had him at 3 on my board, but I've kind of warmed to Brandon Miller the past couple of days. I like what I'm hearing out of Charlotte with him, and I'm really excited, especially for their draft haul, to get Nick Smith at 27. I had him at 25 on my board, but still a super solid player for where you drafted him. And James Najee, I had him in the 20s, I think, high 20s. Going in the second round to the Hornets is super good. And then Colby Jones, I had him mid 20s as well. So they got some talent for sure in Charlotte. Michael Jordan, it seems like he had a good draft on his last draft as the owner. So, shout out to the second greatest player of all time.
Exactly, because number one's Bill Russell, of course. All right, so gonna dive into some other ones that I like to see. Denver, they got 3 instant contributors in Julian Strother from Gonzaga, Jalen Pickett, who people are saying is like a guard version of Nikola Jokic, is what I saw someone talk about, and then Hunter Tyson, who was a solid scorer at Clemson last year. Then down the list, Detroit Pistons, they go and get Asar Thompson at 5th overall. I think very different than what the consensus was thinking. And then at 25, they traded for Marcus Sasser from Houston. What do you think about, Thompson being the pick there in that kind of, already a guard-heavy team at the front?
I mean, it was interesting for sure because we're going to have Cade, Ivy, 1 and 2. I think they're kind of projecting him as more of a wing, and that's what we projected out as well. Kind of an OG Anunoby-esque player going to be going there as Asar Thompson. And I think it kind of just brings the rivalry between Houston and Detroit up a little more with both the twins going there because, Cade Cunningham stands and Jalen Green stands really do not like each other on Twitter. So it's going to be exciting to see that. But overall, I'm excited because I think Pistons have such a good foundation. I think Asar will be able to thrive in that system. And I think Monty Williams, while not the greatest developmental coach, will give him enough time to play. If Landry Shamet gets traded to the Pistons, though, Asar might need to watch out.
All right, we will see. And then I like Marcus Sasser as well. I think he'll be a good instant contributor. I know you don't want to hear this, Griffin, but he'll probably replace Killian Hayes as the primary backup guard. Hey, I was really happy what my team was able to do. Golden State Warriors, we get Braden Podziemski, out of Santa Clara at 19. And then we get great value at 57th overall. We get Trace Jackson Davis from Indiana. He is going to be a guy that's going to get minutes right away. He was a great player at Indiana last year, a 20 and 10 guy, that was getting multiple blocks a game. I love to see that, especially if, we see an injury to a guy, like Kevin Looney, who's, extremely vital to this roster.
Or he could be a Draymond replacement.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, he also showed us some passing ability as well last year, 4 assists a game at Indiana. And then let's dive into Houston. I think, definitely winners in this draft, regardless of what, ends up with Cam Whitmore, because that's great value. A guy that was potentially rumored to go as high as number 4 to them. they're able to get two guys at that spot with Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore. What do you now think of this Houston Rockets team, which I will tie in to the fact of free agency, expected to potentially land Fred VanVleet, by the time this recording is out. What are your thoughts of that?
I mean, even if they don't, whatever happens in free agency happens, I think there's still clear winners from this draft. You have Cam Whitmore and Amen Thompson, both top 10 talents on our board, joining Jalen Green and Alfred Şengün. Like, that is just such a good young core, plus all the other pieces that they've drafted these past couple of years. I think that is just, even, because I think they'll try to win this year. Like, yeah, at least make a play-in push.
Yeah.
But I think it's a solid core for what they're building in Houston. And I think Ime Udoka should be excited about this.
Yeah, I think, they've got to figure out, the situation with Kevin Porter Jr. I think he's more of an odd man out. I know there are some of the young guys that they might be shopping. I heard Dylan Brooks potentially might go there. I think that'd be, those guys are on short-term deals. I don't see a problem with it, allow for them to grow up this young core. And like you said, I think if things go right and, Udoka is as good of a coach as he was just a couple, almost months ago at this point, I think they can be great. So moving down, the Los Angeles Lakers, they go and get Jalen Hood-Schifino, which many people are saying could be, an Austin Reeves replacement. And then they get one of my favorite players in the draft, Maxwell Lewis, at 40th overall. What do you think about the Lakers draft and kind of, going forward with them, taking these young guys, hoping that they produce early for, an aging core of stars?
I don't know about Hood-Schifino being like a Reeves replacement, because I think they're kind of different. Yeah, Hood-Schifino, not really a three-point shooter, but definitely someone they could, this is kind of an aging roster with, LeBron on the team. So I think getting some youth in there, and Maxwell Lewis, such a steal at 40. I really like the Lakers draft right here. They're just, they're winning teams make winning plays, winning organizations make winning draft picks. So, I love to see the GM making these picks right now.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Super solid. What do you think about Hood-Schifino, though? I'm not super high on him, to be honest.
Yeah, so just kind of going back to what I have him in my my big board, I had him at 19, so kind of right around where he went. And he's not really a guy that I think is going to develop much as a jump shooter. I mean, honestly, like I think Spencer Dinwiddie, or like he could even just be Taylor Horton Tucker. Like honestly, like that's what he can end up being. So that was one of my comps for him. Like I can't see him being much more than a 37% shooter, but hey. He's a ball handler. If you need him to play in the second unit, I think that's a great way for him to develop. And, I don't know how high his ceiling is, but I think he's got a decent floor at the end of the day. He should be a solid.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if he's going to be anywhere near the score, Austin Reeves showed at the end of the year, but we will see with that team. We'll see if Darvin Ham continues to have success. Jaime Jaquez to the Miami Heat. I know a lot of people love this move. What do you think of Jaquez, kind of a late riser, kind of dominated these workouts and, a 4-year pro. He's probably going to contribute immediately on this team, with the impending free agency of Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. What are your thoughts with him? And, how does he think he fits into the roster?
I mean, when I was watching tape on him, he's just like a winning player in such a Miami Heat culture type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just seems like such a fit for them. Like he'll fit like a glove, coming off the bench, maybe even, in the minutes where Butler's not playing. So I really love the pick. I love Jaime. Not someone who has a super high ceiling, but, high floor to be for sure. Like nothing besides his 3-point shot, which isn't like super great. He needs to get more consistent with that. But other than that, like I don't really see a whole lot of weaknesses. He's just like, he finds ways to win. So I love that for the Heat. Yeah, definitely a contributor.
Yeah, I've had him at my last my big board. I had him at 27, but I think it's a perfect fit for the.
Yeah, I had him at 29, but yeah, it's like it fit might override what we had him, because like that's just like a perfect place for him to go.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of people were not liking these picks. Anthony Black and Jet Howard, the Orlando Magic, 6th and 11th overall pick. I know you and I, it seems like you had a little bit of falling out with Anthony Black, but Jet
Yeah.
Howard at 11 just seems crazy. I mean, I don't think he's as bad as people want to talk to him about, but, in terms of value, I don't know. What do you think, Griffin, about Orlando?
Yeah, I mean, Orlando definitely needed shooting, but Anthony Black doesn't provide that at all, and Jet Howard does. But I feel like I had higher guys on my board who were able to shoot. I had Jet Howard at 18, so not like a terrible reach by any means, and maybe you really wowed them, and maybe I'm proven super wrong here, but I just don't know. I don't know. Anthony Black, the shooting numbers really concerned me. Again, he fell on my board. He was at 4, and I think he dropped to 11. Yeah, he dropped to 11. So I don't know. We'll have to see with Orlando, but there's definitely a logjam in the backcourt. They need to move off of some of their guards at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see what their moves are, considering they just drafted a point guard. Hopefully, of the future for them, but we'll see.
Imagine, I don't know if it's going to go that way, but Suggs in Black, their defense would be insane.
Really, really great defensive backcourt, but offensively, we're building a house with all those bricks, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I think Jet Howard, it was nice. Like Jawan did run a lot of NBA sets for him out at Michigan. So that was good to see. I mean, hey, if he shoots like 38+% from three, on decent volume, like it's what they needed. I think it's, they weren't going out there to get a star at number 11. They needed a guy to fill a role. And obviously, they didn't think it was going to be Hawkins or Dick. So, they went Howard. He's a shooter. It's what they needed. If he can shoot, like it's not a horrendous pick. Don't at the end of the day say, oh, a better guy win at 12. Yeah, but that guy's, a dominant on-ball scorer, which is what they don't need because they have Ben. So
100%.
And the rising,
and you never know with the draft. Like this is always a crapshoot. The Phoenix Suns a couple years ago, 11 taking Cam Johnson. Everybody thought that was a reach, but that was an incredible pick we made. So you never know with these guys. And I think Jet Howard could have the ability to have a similar impact as a catch and shoot guy, a guy who can get around screens easily and just pull the three. Like that's exactly what they need. They were they dead last or near dead last in 3-point percentage in the league. So yeah.
I mean, Cam Johnson and also like Cam Johnson's developed a little bit as a defender, and Jet Howard has shown the eagerness to be a good defender. Portland, people were thinking all along, they were going to be the ones to land Brandon Miller. Make perfect sense. Worst comes to worst, you have those young guards out there, and then you have Brandon Miller to be the future wing for them. Of course, the draft doesn't go as planned. Scoot Henderson lands with the Portland Trailblazers number 3. Damian Lillard apparently wants no business in leaving Portland. Is this a weird log jam? Someone's got to go, but they do get Chris Murray as well from Iowa. He should be a day one contributor as well. And Rayon Rupert will probably spend some time in the G League. Still has some time to develop, but a promising 3-and-D defender.
Raw prospect though.
But what do you think of this logjam? Because this is a terrible situation for Scoot Henderson.
Well, I've been out on Damon Portland for years at this point, and it's like Groundhog Day. The way the off seasons just repeat themselves in Portland. It's the same fucking thing every year. It's so frustrating. And Dame has gone down on my players I like list significantly. This is like, not only are you hindering your ability to win, you are hindering the city you love and the team that you apparently love so much is the ability to win. You are not winning a championship in Portland. It's time to give up that dream. It's ridiculous. And that Dame is the one that needs to be traded. He's the one that needs to be traded. This needs to be Scoot and Anthony and Shaden Sharp, like as a rebuilding core coming up together. Dame is just like, I don't know. It's just frustrating to me. Like, I don't know what he thinks he is, who he thinks he is, but you're not the guy to carry this roster, especially with a guy in Scoot. Like, you're not winning 4 playoff series in a row with Scoot as your backup point guard right now. Like, I don't see it. It's just frustrating me to no end. And it seems like there's no end in sight. I thought I thought the scoop pick would be the thing to maybe be the last thing to push him over the edge and be like, I need to be traded. But it doesn't look like that. So it's just frustrating.
Yeah, and I mean, I think even for Portland, they say, oh, from a business standpoint, like we're worried about, attendance and fan, attention if we trade our best player. I think everyone in Portland wants him gone because they know they can get a good deal for him, whether it be
Yeah.
draft capital, a young player. Look Bradley Beal, didn't go for a ton, but he still went for a decent bit. And we know Dame's going to go for a lot more than what Beal made, despite being.
Yeah, and if you're the Portland and you're worried about ticket sales, like Washington is an even worse state. Like, who is going to want to see that Washington team right now? Bilal Coulibaly's your like main draw right now. Like, I love him and Jordan Poole, but like, I don't know. Ticket sales. I think that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous statement for them to be saying. Like, come on.
Yeah, no.
They'd be a fun league pass team. I'd watch them.
Yeah, I mean, what you can put a lineup of Shaden, Simons, and
Scoot. That's a highlight reel like every night. Like, are you kidding me?
And you don't have to worry about spacing because Sharp has shown an ability. Simons is obviously a good shooter as well.
Yeah,
he's been in those competitions.
It's ridiculous. Portland blow it up.
Because watch, what's going to happen. I mean, we're filming this at it's 10:09 right now Eastern Standard Time. I think free agency starts in 2 hours. We know Jeremy Grant's going to return to Portland on some $30 million deal, and it's just going to be a run it back at the same time. Like, what's the purpose?
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
This is going to be a wasted season. Either someone's going to get hurt and they're not going to make the playoffs, and we'll have the same conversations in the offseason, or they're going to go out in the second round.
But Dame hits a big shot in the first round.
He hits a big shot in the first round. Dame time. I'm Mr. Portland.
Swept by the Suns with James Harden.
Yeah. Kyrie Irving. Welcome to Phoenix.
Excuse me. All right. Then this is probably my biggest draft winner here. The last to talk about the draft, the Utah Jazz. They get Taylor Hendricks, one of our favorite prospects that we've been covering since the start of this. Keontae George, great value for 16th overall, a guy that can be that potentially 25 plus point per game scorer if he develops, what people see in him. And Bryce Sensabaugh, this steal of the draft, going 28 overall, a true, whether it be 2.5 level scorer, maybe you want to stretch it to 3 level scorer, whatever. This guy can get buckets for you from Ohio State. I love what they've done with this team. Griffin, do you have any thoughts to add on this Jazz? Because I think they hit a perfect, hit
a perfect 3 for 3. I loved all these guys. Sensabaugh, really loved him. I think I had him 20 on my board. Got him way later than I was expecting him to go. Keontae George, just a dog. And then my favorite player in the draft for the value you could get him at, Taylor Hendricks. I think he's just a winning player. Their front court's going to be insane. Utah's a super bright future, and they just got John Collins penny on the dollar. They have a really bright future in Utah, especially all the assets that they've accumulated from all the trades they've made. Utah's on the up and up. They'll be good earlier than we expect just because of how good this draft was.
Yeah. And hey, so now we've covered the draft. We're just going to do a quick little back and forth, throwing some names out of teams that we think, could be matches for these free agents. Like we said, free agency hasn't started yet from the time of this recording. So I'm going to throw some names at you, Griffin, and, I'll throw some teams as well. Who do you think they might end up with? Russell Westbrook. We thinking back to the Clippers?
I don't know. Westbrook is kind of an enigma to me. From what I've seen, it seems like the Clippers are maybe the most likely option, but I don't know. Especially, have you heard the Harden rumors recently that the Clippers are one of the main teams? I feel like if Harden goes to the Clippers, I don't see Westbrook going to the Clippers. You know what I'm saying?
Have those two guys next year.
Yeah. I don't know. The Phoenix on the min. Next.
All right. I'll take Lakers. Clippers. Clippers.
Oh, you're taking the Clippers legitimately?
Wrong team. Clippers. I think legit.
Okay.
Chris Middleton.
Back in Milwaukee.
I'd say back in Milwaukee. I would have loved to see him go to Sacramento though. But Harrison Barnes just got an extension just a couple hours ago. Kyrie Irving.
Sixers.
Son.
Really?
D'Angelo Russell.
Back with the Lakers.
Give me this. Utah Jazz.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Draymond Green.
Back with the Warriors.
All right. Portland.
Back with the Warriors or Portland would be my other, or Sacramento.
I think the ship sailed with Harrison Barnes' return. Fred VanVleet.
Houston.
Yeah, Houston as well. Jeremy Grant.
Back in Portland.
All right. Here's
If they don't get Draymond.
Yeah. Christian Wood.
Oh, I have no idea. What have the rumors said? What have the rumors said on Christian Wood?
I feel like it's kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of been run out of every team he's been on. Like, I don't know if he's a winning player. I think it'll be any team that gives him a contract, to be honest. Like, I could see him going to, like, I don't know, like Detroit or something.
I'm seeing the Heat. I'm seeing Portland on a mid-level.
I could see Portland. I could see, like, Orlando or something like that.
Yeah, I see the Heat talking about. The Heat would be good. I mean, they don't really have a true backup big.
Yeah, that's true. He just thinks he's way better than he is. I think he has an ego problem.
Now, he had that breakout, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
Brooke Lopez.
Brooke Lopez. Ooh, he's good on a lot of teams. You go first.
Give me Dallas for a 1-year deal.
That's what I was thinking. Dallas would be tough.
Kyle Kuzma.
Sacramento.
Honestly, I think he goes back to Washington. And returns to the market next year. All right.
He goes to Washington?
Yeah. All right. Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks, Houston.
Yeah, I'll say that as well. How much do you think he'll get paid yearly? Just to make it simple.
How much is the mid-level?
So like $7 million?
Like between like 10 and 15 probably.
Mm-hmm. All right, just a couple more. Bruce Brown.
Back in Denver.
Sacramento.
Do you think they'll throw a bag at him?
Yeah, they need a guy like that. Dante DiVincenzo.
Back in Phoenix on the mid. Phoenix on the mid. Keep getting called. I'm sorry.
All right. Let me see.
What was your prediction for Dante?
I think I want to see.
If I'm being real, Warriors.
I think the Knicks too. I don't think the Warriors. He can't get a contract from the Warriors again.
He can't.
It's going to be too much to try and do that. Do you think Cam Johnson returns back to Brooklyn, or do you think a team lures him?
I think a team will throw a lot of money, like more than I think Brooklyn probably, but I could see Detroit also getting him.
Reunited with team throwing him $110 million.
Yeah, I think it could be Detroit.
All right, we'll wait and see. All right, any other people you want to mention? Players? Anything you're looking on?
Let me look at my list of free agents.
Like, what are your thoughts on the James Harden situation overall? Record all-time trade request by the man himself.
I just don't care at this point. I don't care. Whatever team he's going to, I don't care. Like, he's not a playoff winning player. I'm going to be honest. If he goes to the Clippers and it's a big three of Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi, okay, that scares me like a little bit. But also Harden, just like he's not that guy in the playoffs. He's looked like he's lost a step considerably. I just think Clippers, but it's just like at this point, you just want to get like twerked on in the club. Like you just don't really care about winning. So it's like I don't care either.
Yeah, no. I think he's lost a lot of value at this point.
Yeah. Kevin Love.
He had a couple of Kevin Love. I want to see Phoenix. Minnesota. Just go back
in Minnesota.
Yeah, they need that. But even though they have 3 big men that they pay way too much money to, but
yeah.
I mean, do you think there's a team that makes a big move? I know Chicago people are thinking about, a DeRozan trade, maybe even a Zach LaVine trade.
They should. Chicago should blow it up as well. They're kind of middling, or at least trade one of their stars. They need to trade DeRozan or LaVine. I think LaVine. There's been some rumors, and like it seems like he's just like not like worn out his welcome, but he seems like tired of the staff and the personnel and his players around him in Chicago. So I'd like to see LaVine move this offseason.
And hey, we heard the Cleveland Cavaliers could be up to something. Potentially a Paul George trade to get the wing they've been looking for.
That'd be tough. I mean, they should do something because the playoffs were super embarrassing for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What about a DeAndre Ayton for Jarrett Allen and Shetty Osman? Who says no? Jarrett Allen was not good in the playoffs. But they need to make a move.
Like, what does that do? Does that move the needle for Cleveland though? Like, do they really?
Not really. I'm just trying to offload someone on them.
They don't really need a big man that can score. They have Mobley. Like, he's developing.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not there yet though. He's still he's not like super polished offensively.
Well, what is your ideal five? Who do you want instead of Ayton? Really,
I need a rim running big who will catch lobs and rebound and block shots. I don't need you to do little Tim Duncan, baby Tim Duncan, mid range shit. I don't need that. I don't need that. I want
a Mitchell Robinson essentially.
Yes, exactly. Mitchell Robinson would be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
A guy who's a dog on defense and will dunk the ball. That's really all I want.
Yeah, you don't want a guy that's just
because Ayton's not going to get the shots that he it seems like what drives his motor is offensive shots, and he'll play hard on the other end. He's not getting shots.
Mm-hmm. What if he went to Atlanta for Clint Capella?
That's also, I would love that. Clint Capella, and
I think that would work well for both teams almost.
It would.
Get a big that can actually score, obviously John Collins that did.
Yeah, and then we could get Jalen. What's last name on
Johnson?
Yeah, Jalen Johnson and Clint Capella for
you probably have a better chance of getting DeAndre Hunter, honestly.
DeAndre Hunter was who I was thinking of.
But I mean, because I don't really know if Okonkwo is really I think they would have moved on from Capella at this point. I know people always say they're moving on to Okonkwo.
Yeah, I don't know if they trust Okonkwo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but maybe moving John Collins was that freeing up the front court a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, hey, we'll have to be back in the coming days at this point because
we'll do a post free agency show for sure.
Trust me, there'll be a lot of back and forth, a lot of tweeting going on these next couple of hours because
Griff from Jersey will be live.
Hey, these things take time. Everyone.
Oh wait, no. Real talk. I have been seeing some buzz. Kelly Oubre coming back on the min. Kelly, please, I love you. We love you in Phoenix. Come back, Kelly.
You need the jersey to regain value.
Yeah, I know, but fucking Bradley Beal took that number. God damn.
He'll give it up.
Yeah, give it up for the GOAT.
All right. Well, appreciate everyone for listening. And as always, this is Coast Coast Podcast signing out. Peace.